A new study from Gallup shows 1 in 5 U.S. adults say they want to leave the U.S. permanently, and that number doubles among young women.
And younger women are behind that spike.
Record numbers of younger women want to leave the U.S.
A new study says 40% of younger women want to leave the United States permanently. Do you?
No, absolutely not.
Personally, for my well-being, we'll probably be relocating.
I have some friends who are kind of planning to move to Thailand.
There is just stuff you see and it's just like, wow, like it's really just going down.
I hope they get out of here. It would save us a lot more money.
The media is running wild with this new Gallup poll. 1 in 5 Americans want to leave the country, and women are driving the trend. And of course, the media instantly blames it on politics.
Check out these numbers. About 40% of US women between ages of 15 and 44 say they would like to permanently move to another country. Down 4 points from the all-time high last year, but quadrupled since 2014. Compare that to men of the same age, where only 19% say that they want to permanently leave. That 21-point gap between men and women is the widest it has been since Gallup began tracking those numbers back in 2007.
The reason behind their desire to move? Well, unsurprisingly, politics is likely to play a role. There's a 25-point gap in the desire to move between Americans who approve and disapprove of the current leadership. Only 4% of those who approve of U.S. leadership say that they would like to move, but among those who disapprove, nearly 30% said they would like to leave the U.S.
What don't you like about America?
Currently, our government, the current administration.
Our president's not really a great example.
They want you to believe this is just another left versus right issue. But what if I told you it's not political at all? What if this is the same psychology behind that viral bear versus man question? The one where women choose a bear over a human man, not because it's practical, but because it feels safer.
Ain't that a man?
Desire to migrate among younger American women has quadrupled in the past decade. This is a new Gallup poll. It's a poll that Gallup has done over the course of more than a decade. So the context and the comparisons really matter here. 40% of women 15 to 44 years old say they would move abroad permanently if they had the opportunity.
Key phrase, if they had the opportunity. That's not intent. That's not a plan. That's a feeling. And when you recognize that, the whole poll starts to look very different.
If they had the opportunity, they would leave the United States of America. 40% of women 15 to 44. That's 4 times higher than about a decade ago when the same question was asked. What's also interesting about this is that if you look at previous data, I'm going to show you a little bit of it, that sometimes you can see that there's not that much of a difference or divergence between genders. That maybe you see something different in a certain age group, but maybe not necessarily a divergence between genders. But in this case, there was a pretty significant divergence between men and women. It's clear that young women feel this way in America, where the men do not feel this way. This also applies, not equally, but very closely, the same to whether the women are single or whether they're married. So that didn't change anything. Now, although the poll gives a lot of very interesting information, it doesn't provide one clear reason as to why this is. My question for you today is, why?
This is the part most people miss. Asking why is critical thinking. This is wanna be starting something energy. You start with noise, but you need a real reason behind the noise.
And can we actually learn something from the topics we're going to cover in the news today that maybe give us some insight? I'm going to talk to you about a couple things here. You might say to me, well, Jenna, this has to do with the political climate, clearly. One of the things the Gallup poll says is it's not that clear by the data. I'm showing something on the screen here that shows us some graphs so you can properly see U.S. adults overall, women 15 to 44, men 15 to 44, women 45 plus, men 45 plus. Let me just read to you part of this poll. The percentage of younger women wanting to move to another country first rose decisively in 2016. the final year of President Barack Obama's second term. In that year, Gallup surveyed the U.S. in June and July after both parties' presumptive nominees were set for the November election, which Donald Trump went on to win. Just a reminder here, though, because this is important, at the time of the poll, it was not clear who was going to win. President Trump wasn't the only one in the race. Hillary Clinton was in the race as well. Let me go on and read. Desire to migrate continued to climb afterwards. So after 2016, hitting 44% in President Joe Biden's last year in office and remaining near that level in 2025. So you can look at that and say, okay, well, wait a minute. It hit 44% in President Joe Biden's last year in office. It's Joe Biden's fault, President Biden's fault. Is it because President Biden was in office, or was it anticipation of what was to come next? Tough to know. You can't read it through these numbers. So you can read the data each way. And it's a reminder about how data can do tricks depending on what sort of narrative you want to fulfill. So if I wanted to say, man, this is President Biden's fault, this is the Democrats' fault, I could say, listen, this happened, started to move under a Democrat administration and peaked during a Democrat administration. But both of those years were anticipation of another election. So which way do you want to slice it?
Boom. She just exposed the entire game. This is exactly how the bogus gender pay gap was sold for years. Politicians and media use these emotional data points to manipulate women because they know women vote based on feeling, not cold, hard analysis. This is why we say, listen to all, but follow none. Think for yourself.
What does that look like? You could go either direction. I love stuff that can go either direction. It makes us think. All right, so what Gallup said is this suggests a broader shift in opinion among younger women rather than a solely partisan one. And that's something that this polling really wanted to make sure to show, which is that it didn't seem like you could easily explain it just by one answer. I'm going to share one with you, but here's another look at women versus men, 15 to 44. So there's definitely a change. Something happens in 2014, 2015, it starts to rise for women, which were, by the way, lower than men previously. And you can see this spike that happens for women in this age group in recent years.
Look at that spike. Women were below men for years, then suddenly surged past men in 2015, peaking in 2018. What else happened in that window? A cultural earthquake, the rise of online activism, heightened distrust, and a flood of fear-based messaging targeted specifically at women. The hashtag #MeToo movement reached a fever pitch. This was a culturally fabricated moment, a planned explosion of grievance. It taught an entire generation of women to see themselves as perpetual victims of a system they need to flee, rather than participants they need to improve. Women didn't suddenly become oppressed in 2017. They were told they were, relentlessly.
Here's one of the reasons that Gallup provided as something to think about. And it's this: younger American women have lost more confidence in institutions than any other group in the past decade. So this includes, the judicial system, the national government, the honesty of elections, the military, goes on and on. So that's something notable, that women in this age group have lost a great deal of confidence in these institutions, and we're not seeing the same in men. One could think, well, maybe younger Americans just, they don't have a lot of faith in a lot of institutions. That doesn't sound that new. But it's not. It's specifically for women.
This part right here is revealing. Women lost faith in the institutions, courts, elections, government, military. But ask yourself, who is more affected by a dysfunctional judicial system? Men in family court. Who is sent to fight in wars by the government? Men. Who is most impacted by a weak military? Everyone. But men are the ones who die. Yet, men aren't the ones wanting to run. This proves it's not a rational response to actual danger. It's an emotional response driven by a biological aversion to instability and a modern sense of entitlement that tells them they should never have to endure hardship.
Where would you want to go?
I know a lot of people from Canada.
Well, you could go there, but we're going to take you back.
Back to where I'm from, maybe India.
France. Yeah, specifically the south of France. It's very clean. We have a high tolerance for dirty.
But you got to like the dirty water hot dog.
Yeah, everybody loves a hot dog.
As for where they want to go, the Great White North tops the list with 11%, saying Canada is their preferred destination. Runner-ups are New Zealand, Italy, and Japan, all sitting at about 5%.
Can't believe Ireland and the UK didn't score more highly.
I know, what a shame.
Very sad about that.
So where do these women want to go? This also surprised me. Let me just read this to you. What has not changed is where these younger women would like to go. Canada remains the top preferred destination for younger American women looking to leave. That destination is ahead of New Zealand, Italy, and Japan. I mean,
the destinations women choose make the point even clearer. Canada, Japan, New Zealand, Italy. These choices are symbolic, not practical. Just like choosing the bear over the man. It's not about reality. It's about comfort. It's about perceived safety, not actual safety. This poll isn't women planning mass migration. It's women emotionally expressing dissatisfaction with their environment. And when people act on feelings rather than facts, the data gets loud, even when the behavior never changes. The media wants this to be political. But when you break down the numbers, the timeline, the psychology, the fear, and the emotion behind it, it's not about presidents. It's not about policies. It's not about parties. It's about feelings, uncertainty, and the same instinct that makes a woman pick a bear over a man. This poll doesn't show women leaving America. It shows women feeling unsafe and trying to signal it in the only way they know will get attention.
Management, we working. Protect yourself at all times. This video has officially been highlighted.